What's going on, guys? It's the Unhinged Engineer here. I am back today with episode 23 of our Georgia Tech OMSCS vlog. And today we are not only starting the fall 2025 semester, but we are also, more importantly, starting CS 6475, Computational Photography. I'm incredibly excited to take this course for two reasons. A, we're getting back on the perception and robotics kind of mainline requirements, the real reasons I decided to take this degree and specialize in what I'm specializing in. And more importantly, this is all stuff that's incredibly relevant to what I do at my day job. So in both regards, I'm really excited to kind of jump into this class, even though it's probably going to be more of a workload. I can already tell. It's definitely going to be pretty challenging, but overall, I'm optimistic it will be worth it. So yeah, I figured for this first kind of kickoff episode, let's talk about the syllabus, just kind of go through everything item by item, because it is very, very well organized, which I super duper appreciate. And then after that, I'll talk about the little bit of work I have done over the last 4 days, because the course just opened up. So yeah, let's jump right into what this class is going to be like. So starting off with the lectures, jumps right into the content, which I genuinely love. Starts off with an introduction here to kind of what is computational photography, why should you care, and then kind of digital representations of images. So like how are they stored in cameras and obviously computers, right? This, just to give you a spoiler about the work section, these are all the lectures I've gotten through thus far. I was wondering whether I need to get through lesson 3 to actually complete the assignment, because I know a lot of times they kind of like front load the things you need for the assignments so you can start them a little bit earlier and watch the lectures later. But it already appears that that's a profound yes. I definitely think I need to get through everything here to understand what we have to do for the assignment, at least first one anyway, which we'll discuss. In any case, after we do the basics of images and cameras, we get into analyzing images, applications of the techniques we're learning, whole section on video, which I think is super cool, and then some niche stuff. I'm not really knowledgeable on this yet to understand what this section is going to be about, but whatever. And then last but not least, kind of the final section here, which I think is kind of a choose your own adventure type assignment for the final. So obviously we're really far out from that. I don't really know how it's structured yet. The readings only tell you so much, but yeah, that will be interesting for sure. In terms of assessments, there are lots of them, right? And they say here, like they're up front, deliverables almost weekly. I would argue it's way more than weekly for sure. Just kind of looking at the schedule and the quizzes and all the different things you have to be juggling at once, which is okay. This is the only course I'm taking this semester. You know, we know what we signed up for, right? Same grading scale as before. Says it's not graded on a curve. That's always subject to change. Who the hell knows? But yeah, let's get into the different types of assessments. So 5 assignments. These are kinds of like the equivalent of the projects I've had to do on the last 2 classes. I guess the main difference here that's kind of new is that all of these have like written reports associated with them. Like they give you a LaTeX format with some questions in there, and you kind of got to answer it in written form to go along with whatever code or images or whatnot you provide. So that's a little new. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm not afraid to write reports. You know, it's part of life. It's part of work, even as much as engineers like to avoid it. Unfortunately, we do have to communicate with one another, usually in written form. So yeah, we'll see how those go. But projects, I think, honestly, these just kind of seem like bigger versions of the assignments. Aside from scope, they don't really seem very different. They have code and a written report associated with them. And yeah, just kind of more coding and writing. What else is new? Final exam, I do believe, yeah, these are open note, open book, all that stuff. 1 attempt though, so that's interesting. You gotta make sure we're locked in for that 1 attempt. But yeah, I do appreciate like no BS proctoring stuff, although the rest of their OSI policy is interesting for sure. But yeah, no proctoring for the exams, which is good. And yeah, final exam window at the end of the semester. Notebook quizzes, straightforward, they're quizzes. Hopefully they're not as superfluous as the rest of them have been, but something tells me they will be. Participation, yeah, there's these like peer feedback assignments that I think are associated with the reports for the projects. Again, I haven't read into the details on how all those are done yet, because they're not due for a little while until the corresponding projects are due. And then there's a portfolio at the end in like PDF form. I'm wondering if we're able to like keep this portfolio, because I know obviously with the code, I understand like they don't want to just splatter all over the internet. But it would be nice if I could, put this PDF or PowerPoint, whatever the hell I make, on my portfolio. That'd be pretty cool. So we'll see. But yeah, if that is the case, I probably will do it. If not, I probably will not, and I'll just focus on getting the other 99 points up for grabs instead of just the one. Yeah, and then a bunch of assignment, policies, late submissions, blah, 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 blah. So I guess one kind of complaint that I'll say up front, which I don't really know why it's like this, but the syllabus, and especially the OSI, like the avoiding plagiarism section, like they're just like so aggressive. And the OSI stuff I get, like obviously you want to strike the fear of God a little bit. I get that you're trying to dissuade cheating, but like the syllabus and like the edX discussion, like everything just seemed like I feel like I'm joining the Marines. I don't know, the generous use of caps and the strong assertions and all this stuff, and it's just like relax. Like it's a lot, so I don't know. In the lectures, so far the lectures seem like approachable, and yeah, I don't think the lectures are as overtly aggressive and kind of like in your face as the syllabus and the communications seem to be, but whatever. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, people just come on strong and then actually level out like people normally do. But yeah, syllabus and the avoiding plagiarism section are a little crazy. But anyway, let's get to the course schedule. Just going through really fast. I mean, basically, it's just dates corresponding to when all the assignments and the readings are due. Like I said in the beginning, I am trying to adhere to the lecture layout, like when you're supposed to watch however many lectures by. Readings, I usually just duck the readings. They don't really provide me a lot of value per unit of time as compared to the lectures and looking at stuff available online. But yeah, maybe I'll do it if there's time and the books are really high quality. That has been the case before. But yeah, schedule here. Oh, I guess I should scroll to the bottom. Yeah, quick links, all the standard stuff. Nothing to do there. Let's go to peer feedback. Yeah, peer feedback associated with the projects. We'll talk more about that when we get to it. More written material. This is for the final, so I'm guessing these are kind of the potential topics that you could work with. I don't know if there are, like, if you're really able to just choose your own adventure and do any kind of concept. This is just me personally. When I'm given a set of examples and then I'm told, like, oh, you can do anything you want, I just stick to the examples. It saves you a lot of headache. Like, they just want you to do the damn examples, and maybe they are just trying to offer you other options to be nice, but I find that in terms of grading and other potential shenanigans, it's just like not worth the risk to really do the specific thing you want to do when they give you like a set of lines that they would like you to color within, even if they don't tell you that you have to. It's better to just do it. So I'll do my own stuff on my own time. But yeah, reading materials, a couple textbooks, and then yeah, military police come in at the end and tell you how to do APA format, whatever. Anyway, that's enough on the syllabus. Let's talk about what I've done thus far in the last 4 days. Basically, I just watched a bunch of the lectures, and I also completed the plagiarism quiz. In addition to that, I started reading through the first assignment, which is the camera obscura. So it's kind of like, you put a bunch of light through a pinhole, it's inverted and a little bit blurry depending on the focal distance and all that stuff. It's from Arabic lands 300 years ago, but it's basically the first attempt of humanity at a camera. So we have to build one of those. Yeah, they actually want you to do it in like your entire room. So like black out your entire room and then only have, a pinhole through the door, through some like hole in a cardboard you put on a window. But my new apartment has like giant windows in it, and there's crap all over the place because we just moved here. So I will take the alternative route of just making a box and kind of, put like duct tape and paper all around the box and white duct tape in the middle to kind of make sure that you get a good image, and yeah, work from there. So in any case, that's the first assignment. You do definitely have to watch the lectures to understand like what they're really talking about. The write-up of how to do the assignment on GitHub was pretty informative, But yeah, I mean, obviously, definitely want to have a little bit more context on what they mean by this first pass at a camera. And it's just, artsy and crafty. There's no code to write. There is a report, but it's mostly just about the images you generate. And I think aside from not really being able to use a room, which I do definitely believe them that I would get better results if I did it in my huge room, but like with the move going on, that's just not possible for me right now. Logistically, that's a nightmare. So we're gonna do it with the box, and we'll hopefully do our best to get good results. So yeah, in terms of lectures were solid. I really like the material. I like the professor. Like I said, he seems pretty friendly in the lectures. And yeah, I mean, on the one hand, it's like pretty fast paced. I feel like it definitely respects the audience a little bit more than some of the robotics lectures that I watched towards the beginning. Like I mentioned this in my review of the first class I took, the AI techniques in robotics. Like some of them almost felt condescending. They were so basic. And I feel like, this professor immediately jumps in the deep end of the pool. Obviously, they go through the appropriate context, but like they kind of treat you like an adult and they don't hold your hand through it. Which, there's a push and pull there of how much do you hold their hand versus how much do you treat them like an adult. But so far, I like the balance that he's striking, which is kind of on the adult side. But yeah, and then the plagiarism quiz was a plagiarism quiz. It is what it is. I don't know how much it's worth. I don't really care. I got 100. It was easy. So yeah, don't plagiarize, kids. Keep it simple. In any case, that's basically everything that I've been up to for the course. That's a summary of the syllabus. I am pretty excited about it. A little bit of like red flags with the phraseology of the syllabus and edX communication, but it's not really anything that I wasn't anticipating given some of the OMS Hub reviews. Overall, my impression of this class is that it's going to be tough. There's going to be some parts of it that are much more valuable than others, but overall, I think it'll be a really good experience, and it's going to be material that I'm incredibly interested in. So hopefully, at the end of the day, Signal gets through the noise and we learn some good stuff. So still optimistic about that. Yeah, that's basically it for me. This is like I said, the first episode of the computational photography section of this grad school vlog. And if you enjoyed it and want to stay tuned with this class as well as the next ones I'll be taking, don't really know what that's going to be yet, but I know there's a lot more to go because I just started. I've only taken AI techniques and robotics thus far, as well as video game AI over the summer. So if you want to stay tuned with my OMSCS journey, or you're going on one of your own, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.